it's me, Jessie. Welcome back to my kitchen. We are going to finish up with our freezer meal workshop today, and we're going to make some lemon pepper chicken Divan. I'm not really 100% sure how to say it. So what I have already done is cut up some chicken. I have about a pound of chicken here that I just diced, and I have about 3.5 cups of frozen broccoli that I have already thrown into a Ziploc baggie. Now, the recipe calls for a can of cream of mushroom soup or a can of cream of chicken. I am not a mushroom fan, so I am using cream of chicken. If you wanted to make this more low fat, you could, of course, use a lower fat soup. I could not get a lower fat chicken soup, so it is what it is, and this is what we got. So I'm going to add that into the chicken and the broccoli mixture. I'm just using my small Nixon scraper to make sure that I get out all of the yummy creamy soup goodness. I don't like wasting it, and it's always hard to get creamy soup out. I'm just gonna wipe it on the bag and then pop it over on the side so I can rinse it out for recycling later. Now, because we need to measure our milk and we're gonna need to measure our breadcrumbs, and I'm trying to conserve dishes, I'm going to do my breadcrumbs right now. Let me just double check that I make sure I have the right amount of breadcrumbs. All right, well, so the original recipe calls for 4 slices of bread, but I didn't want to use any bread. I am using my breadcrumbs that I just make from heels of bread that are left over, or hamburger buns that we don't want to eat. I just toast them up in the oven and then grind them in my blender. So I am adding the breadcrumb mixture to another Ziploc baggie, and I just fold it over the edges so that it stays all clean. And then you can shred up a couple ounces of Parmesan, but I already have this baggie of Parmesan cheese, so I'm gonna cheat and throw this in. You can use whatever. If you have Pecorino Romano, you could use that. Any hard, sharp cheese. You just don't want to get like the stuff in the green can. It's not real good. Okay, now the recipe calls for a couple tablespoons of this delicious garlic oil, which is so good. If you have any left over, I love it in salad dressing, like some garlic rub or lemon pepper rub or Italian seasoning mixed with red wine vinegar is so good in there. It is not even funny. Okay, so the recipe has it just ending here, but we're using lemon juice in this bag of chicken and broccoli. So why would I not zest some of this lemon to put in with the breadcrumbs and just add a little bit of additional flavor? Just that little something that makes you go, So I'm just using my fine grater. So there you go. Make sure you get all that out, and then we're gonna stick that in the baggie with the cheese. Wash my hands. You can smell all the delicious, yummy lemonness. Going to shut that, zip it up, squeeze out as much air as possible, and then just gush it around so that all that cheese and delicious garlic oil and lemony bits of goodness get on all of the breadcrumbs, because this is what's going to make that delicious, crunchy, melty topping on the top of this when it comes out of the oven. It is so good. In fact, I might not even pop this one in the freezer. I might just keep this out for us to eat this week. So you want to make sure it's all mixed up, all that good garlic oil, and then kind of flatten it out so it fits nice in your freezer bag. And I'm just going to set that aside. Now that we have used our measuring cup, we can do the stuff with the milk and the lemon. So I'm going to use the juice from half of a lemon. You want to make sure you put your lemon skin side up so that all of the juice can come out. Turn it upside down, the seeds won't fall out, I promise. See, all of that goodness came out, and I'm just gonna save this for another time. And then I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of the lemon garlic rub. If you have the lemon pepper rub, you could totally use that too. I just happen to be a huge fan of this new seasoning. it just is so super duper lemony and garlicky and delicious. Just so good on everything. All right, and now we need, I believe it's a half a cup of milk. No, 3/4 cup of milk. So I'm gonna add 3/4 cup of milk in now into this bag. Oh, and of course the milk isn't open. Normally Mr. Teacher takes care of these things. Usually he's always got a milk jug in there. All right, 3/4 cup of milk. It's really easy to see on these measuring cups because all the measurements are on the inside. And yes, there's some breadcrumbs in there, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Saves on dishes. Okay, I am going to zip this up and gush it all around so that it gets nice and mixed up. I want all that lemon seasoning to disperse between the chicken and the broccoli and the milk to get mixed in. And it does make it a little harder because I'm already using frozen broccoli. It does kind of start to get a little frozen, but it's not like anything you can't handle. If you were using fresh broccoli, I would just cut it up and steam it in the in your steamer for a second, or just in your batter bowl with a little tiny bit of water and salt and pepper, just so that it's kind of blanched and has that nice green color. Once it comes out of the microwave, you'll want to dunk it in a little bit of ice water so it will retain its cold color and make sure that, or its green color, and make sure it's cooled before you throw it in your bag with your chicken. Okay, so I already used my grater to grate up the cheddar cheese. Use nice sharp cheddar cheese. Now the recipe says that you have to put it in a separate baggie, and then when you make this, you dump it all in together and bake it. So why would I put it in a separate baggie if I'm just going to mix it in together? That seems silly to me. I am just going to mix it in this and try to save some plastic. Now I did grate this before because I needed it for another recipe, but I did use my awesome grater. And if you have that grater, you're gonna wanna make sure to use your guard, because if you've seen my previous videos, you know that thing is sharp and it has sliced off some fingers. All right, so we're going to zip this up again, get as much air out of it as absolutely possible. And then I'm gonna gush it up again because I wanna get all that cheese mixed in. All distributed. Now this stuff is so yummy on rice or noodles. I bet you could probably even do mashed potatoes and make it like a little like gravy. I actually have to try that. All right, so now I'm gonna put everything in one bag so it is all sealed together. And I can find it in the freezer. Just try to get everything in as small as possible and kind of flatten it out to try to save room. And again, we'll zip it up, take out the air, and it's time to get out the painter's tape and the marker. Gosh, I just love painter's tape and Sharpies. All right, so lemon, chicken, Divan, and the date. And I'm using painter's tape and sticking it on here instead of just writing on the bag because I want to try to reuse some of these plastic bags. I don't like using plastic bags a lot, so it kind of bothers me that we're doing this for the environment, but it is super handy to have everything in the freezer, so it is worth it as long as you wash your bags, or if you can get freezer bags, like I said before, do that. All right, this is going to go in the freezer and we are done. I hope you enjoy. Have a good day.